Hi there, I'm Rebecca and a really warm welcome back to my channel Created by Rebecca. In this week's video we are doing days 14 to 19 of my DIY Diamine ink calendar. Let's get started. Day 14 is another Shimmertastic ink. And it is Firefly. I am really excited to see this one in action. It has a gold cap, so we are taking the assumption that it is a gold shimmer. Lots of shimmer all down at the bottom, so I'm going to start rotating the bottle just to get it moving without introducing too much air. Here I'm swatching it into the Rhodium notebook. It's moving around okay. And just adding an extra bit into that bottom left corner as I have done with all the others. I'm going with my glass dip pen to write the name, just so we get all that lovely shimmer. Day 15 is Autumn Oak, another beautiful looking colour that I was excited to try. I couldn't tell whether it was going to be brown or more orangey. Actually, there's an awful lot of yellow that comes through in this when it's a little bit lighter in the application. So the chromatography strip is going to be interesting with this one. Day 16 brings us Amaranth, partly bought because it's a gorgeous colour, but also bought because it is the name of a song from one of my favourite bands, Nightwish. And as with Autumn Oak, I'm using my brass Fanon nib to write the name. Day 17 is O'Neill. Unfortunately my camera stopped recording, so I didn't capture the full swatching. We'll see it later when it's dry. Day 18 is Aqua Lagoon. I'm delighted that this is different enough to Steel Blue to make it worth buying. Oddly though, this is a much bluer colour than Steel Blue. Slightly drier ink, needed a couple of good dips to actually get this written. Day 19 is a cool green. The label makes it look quite turquoisey, so it's going to be interesting to see how it actually swatches. Here are the dried swatches. With Firefly you can see the gold shimmer in both the writing and the swatch. Autumn Oak has a lovely range of colours depending on how wet the application is. Amaranth is more consistent. Eau de Nil has a lovely range of tones, as does Aqua Lagoon and Cool Green. That's a lovely row of 3. We've moved to my studio sketchbook by Artway to do the messier swatches. Here's Firefly. Firefly is described as an orange red with gold shimmer, low shading and no sheen. Here's the chromatography strip for Firefly. As with the other 2 Shimmertastics, it dropped all the gold shimmer in that first stroke. We get an almost alizarin crimson to begin with, then it lifts into a kind of cadmium orange colour before finishing in a deep brownish red. Autumn Oak is described as a rich, warm orange brown with medium shading. The chromatography strip is fascinating. It's lifted almost all the ink from the initial swatch and taken it straight up. There's a hint of an orangey red being left behind, which then goes up into a cadmium yellow, and then it finishes with a vibrant purple. Amaranth is described as an unsaturated medium burgundy with medium shading, a slight brown sheen in larger swatches and no shimmer. The chromatography strip is quite evenly stained at the bottom with a mauvish colour. There's a trace of rose madder before it finishes in a deep dark purple lake colour, maybe with a hint of brown. Potentially it could have a trace of an Indian red in there as well. I'm comparing the chromatography strip here with writer's blood and also with rustic brown, because in the swatches they all seemed quite similar, but you can see the chromatography strips are quite different. Eau de Nil is described as a dark teal with medium shading, low black sheen, and is a blue leaning teal. The chromatography strip leaves behind a greyish indigo from the original swatch, which then pushes up into a paler grey blue. We get a trace of almost a phthalo green, and then it moves up into a phthalo blue to finish with just a ring of an indigo at the very edge. Aqua Lagoon is described as a vibrant medium turquoise with medium shading and a pink sheen in large swatches. I can't see a trace of a pink sheen in the large swatch, even once it's dried. The chromatography strip has a trace of a cerulean or very pale turquoise colour along most of its length. We come up to a sap green, and then we finish with a really strong cyan at the end, possibly a hint of cobalt as well, but I don't think it's as warm as that. Cool green is described as a bright green with pink sheen and low shading. I don't see a pink sheen in my large swatch. The chromatography strip leaves us with a trace of, I would say, a cobalt blue left behind in the original swatch area, which then lifts up into a very citrusy green and then ends in a cyan. If you compare Aqua Lagoon and Cool Green, you can see they are almost reversed. Cool Green has a lot more of that bright citrusy yellow green and less of the cyan blue, whereas the Aqua Lagoon is the opposite. The cyan blue is much stronger than the green. And here are all the large swatches all dried down. You might have noticed that I forgot to do the watercolour swatch from Amaranth. I've corrected that and added that in. A lovely set of colours there. And now we move back to where I am writing out the Boar's Head Carol, one line in each colour. And for anybody who knows Latin, I apologise for my spelling. I don't know Latin, and I don't have my my copy in front of me as I am writing this out, so I am making mistakes. The boar's head in hand bear I, bedecked with bays and rosemary. So I pray you, my masters, merry be, quod estis in convivio, caput aperi de ferro, redens laudis domino, caput aperi de ferro, redens laudis domino. The boar's head, as I understand, is the rarest dish in all the land, which thus bedecked with a gay garland, let us servire cantico, caput aperi de ferro, redens laudis domino, caput aperi de ferro, redens laudis domino. Our steward hath provided this in honour of the King of Bliss, which on this day to be served is in reginensi atrio, caput aperi de ferro, redens laudis domino, caput aperi de ferro, redens laudis domino. That means we are 3/4 of the way through my DIY Diamine Advent calendar. I call it something different every time, I think. I'm really enjoying the colours that I've got so far. I can't wait to start using them with my dip pens, maybe even inking up a fountain pen. Yeah, really excited by the range of colours I'm getting. And remember, I bought and paid for everything myself. Right, well that's it for this week's video. Thank you so much for watching. There will be another final instalment of this year's DIY Advent Calendar to come. So please remember to like, share and subscribe to me here on YouTube. And until next time, bye.